Welcome back to Living808. There are some of us that think we are great photographers, but there is always something more to learn, to get better at. And that's why Butler and Badeau Portraits are holding workshops. Marianne Jupe is here with the details. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Of course, everybody with one of these thinks they're a great photographer, but that doesn't necessarily mean we all know everything. How did you get started in photography first? I'd love to know that.
Great question. So I totally started out wanting to just take better pictures of my kids because I'm around them all the time. Really started studying and teaching myself a bunch of different skills. And from there, other people started asking me to start taking pictures of them too. It totally evolved from there.
You have some tips, if you wouldn't mind. I know you're doing workshops, but if you wouldn't mind just giving us some tips on taking better pictures.
Absolutely, because everybody can learn. And plenty of people come to the workshops that have just an iPhone or a camera phone, and they just want to be able to take better selfies or anything like that.
And you have tips that can help even those folks out.
Correct.
With just the iPhone.
Yep, absolutely, because the rules of artwork apply no matter the genre. So you have a big fancy camera, you have a phone, you're totally fine. So
rule number one.
Rule number one. So you want to always look for ways to frame your subject. So make sure that when you have a subject in front of you, try to create different interests. Don't just make it flat, but think of ways that you can have leading lines that draw your eye into the picture. In this example,
picture, by the way.
Thank you. The boat frames the subjects and help draw your eye to where they are.
Okay.
So get that first shot that's just the boring, you know, straight onto the camera, and then look for ways to make it more visually interesting with those leading lines.
And of course, the kid's cute, but so is the puppy. Okay, you have another tip.
I do, yep. The second tip is being able to, along with framing your subject with visual elements that are in the picture, you want to use the lines to bring people into the picture. So I know we have an example of this one too that helps really drive that point home, but always be able to add something different into the picture, because that's going to elevate it artistically. When you use the rule of thirds, for example, you split the camera, you split the picture up into different lines, and you want your subject to be on one of those lines, and that's going to help make your pictures even better. It's going to elevate it as opposed to just making your person right in the middle. And part of that is when you're looking at the scene, you're going to have to make sure that you compose in the viewfinder, because you can't make this picture afterwards. You're going to have to have the subject in the right place even before you take the picture.
Give us one last tip, and I think that the one that you're about to give is perfect for even those that are using camera phones.
You're totally right. This is so important, and this one is making sure that you get the catch lights in people's eyes. So you always want people to turn slightly towards a light source so that you can see that little light in their eyes. Otherwise, people's eyes look really dead. They're not visually interesting. And that's totally something that you can use no matter what type of instrument you are using to create that picture.
Why did you start teaching photography classes?
So I had a bunch of people that kept on asking me about, you know, can you give me some tips on using my camera? I love what I do. I'm so grateful to be working with so many amazing families, but I'm not in your home every single day. You're with your family, you're going about your life, and you deserve to be able to create the best pictures. And if I can give you some tips and help you see things in a little different way and physically be there to turn your dial this way, this is how you take your camera off of manual mode, then you can do so much better.
I'll give you one important tip for all of the Living808 viewers. Make sure you back up your pictures. I made the mistake of losing a hard drive.
Oh, no.
It died on me, and it had 2 years of my son's, my first 2 years of my son. So I emailed everybody. Anyway, I digress. I would love for you
Same thing happened to me.
Right? And
it's horrible.
You got to back it up. Take good pictures of it. But workshops, where can folks find out about your studio and workshops?
Yep, absolutely. So we're on social media. We have our websites. If you go in right now, any of the classes that we have listed, you can use the code KHON for 50% off.
Ooh, there you have it. Your website is there. I see it on the screen, but go ahead and give it to us anyway.
bbphotoworkshops.com. So Butler and Badeau Portraits is the name of the business, and we just have photoworkshops.com.
Aaron, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. We'll have all this information on our website. Don't forget 50% off if you use the code KHON. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have fun at the workshops, and thank you for your tips.
Absolutely.